We're live at the TVA Credit Union Ballpark, the home of the Johnson City Cardinals, and we're now joined by Dr. Muncy, who's been with us on our road trip, what we'd like to call it. So thanks again for coming here.
Thanks for having me. I love it. I love being out here. I love being with you guys. I like being able to express chiropractic to the world.
Yeah, well, and we're here at the ballpark, and speaking of baseball and sports, a lot of people are getting ready to send their kids back to school next week, and they're starting to think about sports, and you are here to tell us that it's not too late and it's never too early to start thinking about how you can prevent those injuries, whether you're young or old, right?
Absolutely. What we see a lot in sports as we go through the years is we see athletes that are performing at their highest level, and they're performing at their highest level because they've got everything in order. They've got their properly functioning spine and nerve system, their body's on balance. It's all the keys to helping them perform for a lifetime. What we like to do is to check young athletes' spines, nerve systems, to make sure that everything, the vital communication between the brain and the body, is allowing them to function at their highest level so that they can play these sports and not get injured. We want to prevent injuries.
Right, and there really is truth to wanting to make sure that they can perform at their best level and to prevent any injury, because I think that's a huge thing, because even though there's more work into preventing, there's way more work if you get injured.
Absolutely. Waiting till you're injured is a bad time to decide, hey, it's time for me to look and see why I got injured, right? You want to try to prevent it off and prevent it and head it off in the early stages. We look at people, especially athletes, you look at your highest performing athletes out there and you look at their posture. You'll notice that their posture is on point. Their shoulders are level, their head's centered, their hips are level. When we see young athletes out there with these imbalances in their system, we can really predict about how they're going to get injured or what they're going to injure, so we can prevent that from happening through the use of chiropractic care.
Wow, and that's what's so great is that you guys at Muncy Family Chiropractic, because you work with the specific, person about what sport they really focus on. So, because I'm sure the treatment for someone who plays football versus someone who does a lot of running or maybe swimming is a lot different. Right?
Absolutely, it is. If you have a person that plays baseball, they're unilateral in their movements. They're going to be one-sided, right-handed or left-handed. We get somebody in football, they're using all their muscle groups all the time. They're back and forth. They're moving across the field. Bilaterally, they're using bilateral muscles. You get a runner. A runner is a person that's using their lower body and using their legs a lot more and their pelvis a lot more. So we're going to look at their feet, their knees, their hips to make sure all of that is functioning properly. Also, head carriage. Head carriage and a forward head tilt can actually damage the way their back functions.
Wow. I had no idea.
Absolutely, because we're all connected. Our spine and nerve system is connected. It's not a neck, a mid-back, or a low back. It is a spine and nerve system. And if we get forward translation of the head, that puts undue pressure on our low back. So when you're running with that forward translation, your back's taking all the load, as opposed to keeping its center mass and keeping you functioning and going down the track in a normal pace. Right,
that is so interesting. And what's great too is that you really focus on, yes, we're talking about, maybe kids going back to school, but you also work with athletes who are older too, who are not in school anymore.
Absolutely.
Polite way of saying it.
We like to catch them early so that when they are the older athlete, they can still perform for 60, 70, 80, 90 years and beyond. We want people to live a healthy life far beyond what they ever thought they could. We don't want them to spend the rest of their life just inching closer and closer to the nursing home generation. We want them to inch close and close to a life of abundance.
Yeah, being active at all ages, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that really is in part by doing preventative medicine and being able to come to you.
Absolutely, and we try to catch them early. Early preventative medicine is the key to a longevity of life and a healthy longevity. We had a baseball player actually from one of the minor league teams around here come in at one point, and he couldn't hit home runs anymore.
So what was wrong?
Well, he had issues with his spine and nerve system, and we were able to take that and correct those problems and got him back on the field hitting home runs again.
Wow.
So, it's pretty important to his career.
Right.
Just like it is to a junior football player or a college football player. As you know, I work with Emory and Henry Sports and King University Sports. We want to keep these kids on the field as long as we can injury-free, and I'm sure that's important to the parents too, is I don't want my kid getting hurt. They're playing contact sports. We want to keep them as healthy as we can.
Right, definitely. And you want to make sure that they are as healthy as they can be future.
That's right.
As well, because maybe they aren't doing a collegiate career in sports, but they're still going to be active, and you want to make sure they can.
That's right. And having chronic knee and back injuries the rest of your life is no way to live your life.
No, it is not, and that's why you can come and see Dr. Muncy, a Muncy Family Chiropractic. All of his information is right there on your screen. Dr. Muncy, thanks again for coming all the way here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I enjoy it.